Hello, everyone. This is Rick with the Cyber Pro podcast. Industry leaders share their insights. 5 questions-ish in about 9 minutes because hackers never sleep. Let's get to it. Question number 1 is the easiest question you'll have all day. Who are you and what do you do?
So hey guys, I'm Aviv Grafi. I'm the CTO and founder of Votiro. I'm based in Tel Aviv, Israel. I'm in the cyber industry for the last probably 20 years since I was in high school. I'm founded Votiro, and our goal is to help organizations to be protected from any kind of weaponized document or content, no matter where it comes from, and they consumed via our cloud-based API solution. So any employee or any coworker can just open any document without the need to think twice. And just in 60 seconds, how we do it and why we're doing that differently. So if you remember all those technologies like AV, anti-malware, all those next-gen AVs, even the EDRs, they're all doing one thing. They're trying to base on the history and predict the future. They're trying to see whether we saw something malicious in the past, and let's see if the next one is just in front of us. And we all know that this is doomed to fail, and that's how we came up with a new technology called Content Disarmament Reconstruction, or CDR, which actually turned the problem on its head. Instead of looking for the bad stuff, you just know what is the good stuff. So if you have a document, you're just taking the good content and use it, what is really used for, view and edit, like in Word document, all the text, the bookmarks, paragraphs, font, everything, and just create a replica of that document, exactly the same format, exact same look and feel, and deliver that in milliseconds. And it's a completely different approach than most of the technologies out there. We try to detect what is, cannot be detected.
I love the path you're taking. I think you hit it on the head. Cybersecurity is always about what bad thing just happened to me, but we have billions of good things that went through our networks and events. What made you think that this was a path to success?
So a little bit of history about myself to explain that. So when I started my cybersecurity kind of career, I would say I was in high school, and I love to break things and see how they work. And then I recruited to one of the intelligence forces here in Israel, as I had to do my mandatory service. And after 5 years, almost 5 years of service, I went to work and I did some auditing, pen testing work. As a freelance, is what it's called. I mean, it was part of now called Votiro, but I was traveling around the world and I was interviewing IT staff and seeing how the system configured, and I was able to show them how I could hack them. And there was one thing that was just working 100% of the times, which was just sending a weaponized file and call it a resume to the recruiting department. Say, hey, I want to apply to a position. I want to help you in the week with the Cyber Pro podcast. And I would love to hear from you. And you know what? On the other side, there was a guy or lady that, in order to do the job, they need to open those resumes, and hundreds of them a week. So it just worked 100% of the times. And I thought to myself, how, 20, 30 years of those cybersecurity technologies, there's still that tension between productivity and security, and we can still, lure someone to open a weaponized document, no matter the number of layers of technology and sophistication that we deploy. So that made me think that there must be a different way to solve that problem.
It's fascinating. So why do you love being a cybersecurity professional?
So I think cybersecurity professional, the unique kind of view is that you really need to think how the bad guys are thinking and what might break. And it's full of technology. It's not like in how the bad guys are think like in some other aspects of life. So I think it's really blend both technology and really think of how things can break. And for me, and as I mentioned, I love to research and know how things are working and what can make them break. And that's for me, it's a lot of cybersecurity mentality.
I'm going to ask an additional question because you're also a founder, so you have that entrepreneurial spirit. Why do you love creating new things, and why do you love being a business creator?
So the thing is, entrepreneurship is a lot about creating new things. Is a lot about being in love with new ideas. There's a lot of trying to solve things, and what drives at least me, and I think a lot of other entrepreneurs, is that when someone tell me, yeah, but it's impossible. So that made at least me, say, oh, what did you say? What's impossible? I'm sure it is possible. Let's just find a way to do that. So I think a lot of those things that are really a challenge. I think that will drive me as an entrepreneur and founder.
It's awesome. So here's the buzzword, right? Cybersecurity is a top concern. What does that mean to you?
So cybersecurity as a top concern means to me that you need to really think how you manage the risk, but also not to be the bad guy in the organization. Because I found a lot of cybersecurity experts, folks, IT security heads, even CISOs that are being, seen as the bad guy in the organization. Oh, the bad guy just got into the meeting, so now he will tell us that we need to stop doing that, or we need to fence with this and that. And I think what need to be changed and what need to be the top kind of concern is how we enable the business as a cybersecurity professionals. That's what we need to do. How we enable our business units and business folks to really do their thing and not telling them what not to do. So I think should be the top concern if it's not.
Do you have a recommendation off the top of your head on how that can start to synthesize?
So I think there are a lot of solutions out there that are more business enablers as opposed to restrictive security. Um, if you think, at least from my world, if you remember, a lot of, for example, email security solutions. Now, a lot of them are using that quarantine terminology. Oh, your email was quarantined. Now you need to call the IT. This is exactly the opposite of what we need to do, right? We need to allow the employees to work. We need to allow them to communicate and collaborate. And a lot of the security solutions that, okay, let's add another layer that block them to browse to certain websites. And I think we need to have kind of the opposite, how to allow them to browse to any websites, but with a certain constraint that or something that allows us to make sure that they're not getting breached. And there are solutions in the market. I mean, in Votiro, we produce one solution, but there are plenty of others, not just in our space, that are more security or business enabling security rather than restrictive, business restrictive security.
That's great insight. What, speaking of insight, what insights do you want to share with our network of cyber professionals?
So I think at least one of the insights that I recently, found that a lot of the users, they don't really, understand why they need to comply with certain things. For example, we in Votiro, we need to go through annual SOC 2 audits. So for the audience that maybe not know what is that, so we need to go through certain policies and audit process to make sure that we have security, compliance, cloud product services, and anything that's related to how we actually ship our product and service. And when we went through that for the first time, it was a couple of years ago, a lot of the users were just saying, why do we need that? And I think that it has changed when we explain what can be the value of having those new processes and how it can help us and how it can mitigate, how it can help them actually to make their job easier, whether it's a centralized management, maybe that would be an easier policy for onboarding, offboarding, so they won't need to chase someone for permissions. So I think that maybe, I wouldn't say marketing, but at least, how to present that to the user, how it can help them. I think this is a great thing. And SOC 2 or the presentation, how SOC 2 can help organization. This is was at least insight for me just recently.
That's really cool. Fun question for you. What's your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
And so I think that's a good question because before we recorded that podcast, I mean, I was trying to think about that, and there were just too many of them, and I just asked myself, uh, what was the thing that actually I'm seeing today that's still using it, but maybe in some other form. And for those of you who are old enough, if you remember the Palm Pilots, I think that was 20 years ago, probably. So I think that was the first kind of computer handheld device, and and back then, I mean, I was carrying that. It was black and white. It was with the stylus thing, and it has the phone book, everything. It was just kind of the iPhone without the phone kind of thing. And I think it was really, breaking in terms of kind of technology back then. And, we kept that. So I think that made me smile. I was so obsessed with my Power Pilot. For those folks who don't know what it is, just Google it. It sounds a bit old now, but yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the Palm Pilot. So, Aviv, thank you so much for being on the Cyber Pro podcast.
Yeah, it was great to be here. So thank you very much for inviting me. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching the Cyber Pro podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on new podcasts and bonus content.